You know how Apple shows you your memories from like random days in the past? So I see a picture and then I click on it and I'm like, wait, this is me? Like I had a drop scare. I was like, literally like this was my reaction. I was so shocked. I was just like, wow, like I look different. It looks like I aged backwards. I look so dull, tired, depleted. I don't even like, I stared at that picture for a while and I was just like, there's no possible way that I didn't see myself like this, right? Even to the point where like I literally sent this picture to my brothers and I was like, I look like I aged backwards. Like you guys weren't gonna tell me anything. It's really crazy how when you look at your old pictures, sometimes like it's like, who is this person, you know? But as I looked at that picture longer, I was just like, I know this girl. I see this girl. She wasn't fully leaning into her intuition. She was scared of her power. This girl is me. That girl is still within me. I'm just a more evolved version of her. I'm a version of her that actually does my best. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm perfect, but I will say that where I am now, I've never been doing my best like this. It was always half of my best. I can say confidently that I'm in a space of my life where I take doing my best very seriously. Doing my best really just looks like following my intuition, following the little calls that are placed on my heart, even if that's like calling my mom. But like if I just feel like I need to call my mom, I'll call her. Right? If I feel called to watch this specific video, I'll watch it. If I feel called to read a paragraph of this certain book, I'll read it. If I feel called to drop into meditation, I'll do it. If I feel called to stretch whilst I'm in the grocery store, I'll do it with no questions. That's the difference. The girl before that was dull and just not looking her best wasn't listening to her heart. She was ignoring the sensations that her spirit was sending through her body. But seeing that picture really put a lot of things into perspective for me. Just realizing that I had to glow up. It was never my intention to glow up, right? Like I never intentionally said like I want to look better in my eyes or just like be more radiant. But I realized that the more that I listened to my intuition and leaned into my feminine energy, the more radiant I became, the more light I became, the lighter I felt. I literally feel different. That girl in that picture, she was so disconnected to her body, disconnected to her sensuality. She was insecure. It's just like it's so interesting how we evolve. The spiritual journey encompasses so many things. As I've been deepening my awareness in my spiritual walk, I feel like I look more beautiful every single day. Like I feel like I just radiate more and more every single day, the more that I am intentionally doing the work. And funny enough, this picture that I was looking at, it was about like 2 years past my spiritual awakening. So I was actually being intentional about my spiritual journey at this moment. But the thing with being intentional about your spiritual journey or healing journey, it doesn't mean that your whole world physically will change overnight. It's still a process. When you become aware of your spiritual journey, you are always on the journey. The point of awareness accelerates your growth, but you were always on the journey, right? And so I think at first when I saw that picture, I felt kind of embarrassed. And I think that's why I've kind of low-key been avoiding looking at my older pictures. Because when I look at them, I used to cringe. I used to cringe looking at my older pictures because I was just like, why was I talking like that? Like I would talk with my mouth closed, just like do like very insecure things. And I can literally see that I was just at a lower place. However, I was still showing up and doing the work in those times. The person who I am today, I owe it to that girl. So there's no way that I can shame myself, and there's no reason for me to feel embarrassed of that girl. She literally made me me. She is me, right? And I think it's important to look at ourselves in that way. If you feel like you're in a position in your life that you find undesirable and you're really desiring change, know that the person that you're looking at in the mirror, the person that you are today, is literally the person that's going to get you to where you want to be, right? So that means that the same love and care and adornment that you would give this better version of yourself, you have to give that to the version of yourself in the present moment, right? And that could be difficult because it's like, well, this is not my final form, like, this is not, how I really want to be. But time is a very interesting concept. The habits that you keep today are the same habits that literally create tomorrow's version of you. They create next year's version of you. So the habits actually have to start now, right? And so it's just very interesting because, like I said, I wasn't trying to glow up. My goal was just to deepen my connection with self. My goal was to deepen my mind, body, and spirit connection. I was very intentional about dealing with things as they came up. However, there were definitely certain things that I would run away from. And I do believe that those are the things that also kept me in that frequency, because I can literally see that that girl was in a whole different vibrational state. However, as my energy shifted into more of confidence, more of trust, faith, my whole energetic frequency shifted, and that also accelerates your growth, especially when it comes to physical things. There's that saying that everything starts within, and it's so true, because you can literally get a makeover. You can book the most popular makeup artist in town, nicest pedicure and whatever, and do this whole body makeover. But if you are unwell internally, all of that work that you did literally means nothing, and you will feel it. You'll feel stuck. You'll feel disconnected from your body. You'll take the makeup off and take off the hair and everything, and you'll just be like, who am I? It's a very dark place to be, but you actually can get out of that space easily. It really isn't that hard. Forget time. Don't don't put time constraints on your growth, because it could literally happen sooner than you think, or maybe you actually need more time for things to fully develop for you. So if you're looking to have an unintentional glow up, I would say to first listen to your intuition. Listen to the little nudges, right? Like, it can be so little. Drink water. Like, if you just feel intuitively that you need to drink water, our mind, body, and spirit are constantly in communication, and we are aware of this. However, we kind of like put it in the background and don't really take it seriously. But when you actually start acting on those little nudges, you'll become more aware of this connection. So get up, get out the bed and drink that water if you're feeling called to do that. Take that walk if you're feeling called to do that. Cut that thing out of your diet if you're feeling called to do that. Invest in that book, right? Take that wrong turn. It's so interesting how our intuition leads us, but this is our direct connection to source. And so it's very important when we are listening to our intuition and we are acting on what it's telling us to do, we are our highest self. As long as you are listening to your intuition and acting on it, you're in your highest timeline. Like, time on earth doesn't work like this, in a way where like you get up and you see immediately all these physical changes. Now, I would say that you start to feel different first. You will literally feel your energy shifts first. You will feel lighter. And as your energy shifts, so do the things around you, because your frequency is what is attracting these situations, people, things into your life, right? So we have to work on feeling lighter first. And what is going to help us to do that is to listen to our intuition. Not only is it really important to listen to your intuition if you're wanting to glow up, feel lighter, shift your energy, but it's very important to pay attention to the sensations in your body, right? Pay attention to how you feel after having a certain type of conversation. Pay attention to how you feel when you're talking to a certain person. Pay attention to how you feel when you listen to a certain type of music. Pay attention to how you feel when you're eating. Pay attention to how you feel when you're wearing something, right? Just like pay attention to how you feel, because our spirit communicates with us through our body. There's a book called Your Body Keeps the Score. I've actually never read that book, but that title alone is powerful. Your body does keep the score, right? And we literally store pain, stories, beliefs inside of our bodies. It's really important to tap into your body. Learn to lean into feeling into your body. I'll share with you guys a story. I personally don't drink, right? Alcohol. Now, I'm not someone that really runs around saying that I'm sober. I just don't drink. I'm not interested in drinking alcohol. And I used to drink alcohol, right? I used to, party and get lit, and I've blacked out a couple times and all these things. And it's just like the way my body would feel after doing that. Because, like, think about it. Most people binge drink because our body actually only processes 1 ounce of liquor per hour. So if you're taking multiple shots in an hour, your body is really only processing that one shot for that hour, which is why a lot of people crash out and black out, because your body literally cannot handle the amount of alcohol that you're giving it. But let me just think about like a college night, for example. Okay, so before a party, you're probably, and it's college, so you're probably not even eating good food anyway. So let's say the last time I ate was like 1 p.m. and it was like queso and chips. And then I started pre-gaming with my friends. Though the pre-game happened, and then we go to the party, and then we drink at the party, and then everybody's just belligerently drunk, and then we all pass out, and then we wake up, and then you feel terrible, and then we're just like, oh yeah, let's go get some Wingstop, let's go get some Waffle House, let's get some carbs to soak up that alcohol. And then you do it again next week, and we normalize the feeling of feeling terrible. It's actually really funny how in society there's certain things that are normalized because there's a big market for it. There's a really big market for alcohol, liquor, wine. Like, alcohol is a big thing, right? And so the feeling of being hungover, the feeling of feeling sick after drinking is something that's normalized. But if you don't feel good in your body, the truth is, most people don't feel good when they are drinking after they're drinking, right? And I could always see a difference when someone stops drinking, right? And in the picture I was looking at, I was still someone that, was drinking, and I was on vacation. I was on a resort and it was all inclusive. So, there's a bar at every corner. It's so crazy because to think that like money was spent to go on vacation to feel sick half the time because it's normal to feel that way on vacation is just like really sad to me, because you don't really get to fully immerse yourself into the environment. But anyways, as I was saying, most people feel nasty when drinking. Liquor throws off your body's harmony. Yes, our body can handle it, but there's a very little amount that it can handle before things really start to go left. This is why usually when you see people cut out the consumption of alcohol, they look different. It's almost like they look younger. And you can always tell when someone is drinking heavily because it literally shows in your face, right? And heavy drinking also leads to a whole bunch of health problems. But it's not like you just end up with those health problems and they're a surprise. Your body has been telling you, this doesn't work for us. Doesn't work for us. That feeling of being hungover is actually your body telling you, this doesn't work. This is not good for us. We don't need this. We don't want this. Like, this isn't good, you know? And it's not just with liquor. Another very common thing that I see is when people shift their diet into eating more whole foods and less like fast food and junk food, they literally look lighter. They shed unnecessary weight. Your mental becomes clearer. Like, you can literally see when someone is eating a whole food diet, especially like a whole food plant-based diet, an electrified diet. You can feel that people that eat whole foods literally vibrate higher, right? They have a higher frequency because they're not being weighed down by all the super processed and unnatural additives that are often added in a lot of the foods that we eat. And those are just a few things, but it's not only limited to food and alcohol. Our body will literally tell us through sensations that this person is not the best person to be around, you know, that maybe you shouldn't consume this type of content. Maybe you should reduce your amount of screen time. I can't tell you exactly what it is because these sensations come up in the moment. So this is why it's really important to be present and learn how to bring your attention to the present moment. Funny enough, when our body is communicating with us, it usually draws us to the present moment. And then we feel it, we're present with it just for a moment, and then we leave, and then we go back to what we're doing. And so, if you're wanting to have that unintentional glow up, when your body communicates with you and you're present with it for just that moment, stay there. Stay there and really sit with that feeling, sit with those sensations that are racing through your body and listen to what it wants to tell you. Assess your situation and be honest with yourselves, right? Because sometimes it really do be that friend that you grew up with since you guys were 6 years old, right? Sometimes it really is your favorite YouTuber. You know, sometimes it is your favorite restaurant. Like, sometimes it's things that we grow attachments to. But in order for us to evolve and grow and feel lighter, we have to let these things go. And trust me, once you let them go, you're not really going to want to go back to them. Personally, alcohol is one of those things that, like, I don't feel any way around. Like, I don't feel inclined to drink it. I don't feel like I'm missing out. I think sometimes when I'm around people that drink, they feel like I'm missing out, like they feel bad for me. But I feel really good because I'm just like, I know how my body felt like when I was consuming this thing. And it may have felt good for like 5 minutes because of like dopamine when you're taking these shots and like the spikes. Overall, it's not a good experience for my being. And so the attraction to it is even lost, right? And once you let go of the thing, you realize that you don't even have to fight to like keep it away from you because life just starts to feel so much better without it that it's like, why would I add this back into my life? It becomes a no-brainer, and you've literally completely shifted out of that timeline. Those things don't resonate with you anymore, and that is something that you should be proud of. But yeah, that's pretty much it about glowing up. I really feel like it's a part of the spiritual journey. It's less about external things. It's less about the skincare routine and all these things. It really is just about listening to what's working for you and what's not working for you. I can personally say that there's certain things that I still consume or I have reintroduced out of curiosity or scarcity or whatnot, and I can literally feel that it's not working for me, right? And the more that you normalize eliminating things out of your life, cutting out the consumption of certain things that are not serving you, the more sensitive you will become. And so for me, when I eat certain things that are not necessarily unhealthy, but are just not good for me, I literally feel weighed down. And it may not be like really intense. It may just feel like, you know, like if you just have someone's hand on your shoulder, it's like that. And I'm like, wow, I have the potential to feel lighter. And so, yes, this is weighing me down just a little bit. But if I were to eliminate this, I would feel even better. I would be an even stronger magnet to my desires. I would live a more fruitful life, even if it's just by 2%, right? And I feel like none of us are here to live a heavy life, especially if we have the means to not live it, right? Unfortunately, there are people that are really born into terrible situations, but a lot of us perpetuate cycles that we really don't need to be in. You got to be really honest with yourself. Honesty is definitely the common denominator between both of these things. You can listen to your intuition and not be honest with yourself and not follow it. It's all about being honest with what's being brought up for you. And a lot of the times it's very uncomfortable and we feel like we can't live without those things, and we feel like we need to still incorporate those things in a certain way to be balanced. But the truth is, if something is throwing you off, is making you feel heavy, there's no amount of that thing that you can add into your life that's going to make you balance. If you have a scale that is balanced because there's an equal amount of rice on each side of the scale, and you add 5 rocks to one side and you realize, oh, these rocks really weigh down this side. So you take out the 5 rocks, and then you're just like, let me add 2 rocks on one side for balance. The scale is still unbalanced. Yes, it's not extremely unbalanced, but it's still unbalanced. Maybe life feels better for you in that way, but you still have the potential of living a more balanced life if you were to let those 2 rocks go, right? Because I feel like oftentimes we normalize toxic behavior because we are not ready to let that thing go, and we still want to incorporate it in our lives, and we call it balance. It's not balance. There's no way that could be balance. I made a video about this and I'll link that down below. But like for me personally, I'm honest with myself and I know when I'm self-sabotaging. I know that eating certain things are not the best for me, and I eat it and I have to pay the consequences for it. There's no amount of, for example, I know dairy does not work for me. I don't even know the last time I had cheese, but I know if I do eat something that has cheese in it, I'm going to pay the consequences for that. And there's no amount of cheese that I could eat that is not going to disrupt me in some way, even if it's just in the slightest way. It's still disrupting me. Honesty is very important in this process. I really don't like outros. That's me being honest. If I was on the phone, right? Like if I was talking to someone, I wouldn't have this like, okay, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. It's really awkward, but it's like YouTube etiquette. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you all in the next video, of course. Bye.